I'm super excited to come talk to you all today. My passion is driving revenue for e-commerce businesses through content marketing and SEO. It's my background. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Ronald Dod, Chief Marketing Officer, co-founder of Visitor. We're an e-commerce marketing agency, about 60 folks. Work with some great leading brands online from Spanx, Just For Man, NCR, Title IX, best boxing brand out there, Ringside, and Blanco Labels. And we build Magento sites and we get customers to them. And my background is really in the SEO side, so where I kind of grew up in this space. And throughout the years, doing SEO, I realized the power of using content and content marketing to really amplify SEO results. And that's why I want to come today and talk about how, I've seen Magento merchants be successful using content marketing to drive revenue through customer acquisition. So I broke this out into 4 parts. I'm going to talk about what is content marketing for 25% into how that actually drives revenue, and then the last 50% in actually how to do content marketing and build a content marketing system. So just starting out, content marketing is pretty straightforward. It's using content to market your Magento storefront by getting content to the right audience at the right time, right place, to build that connection with them, build your brand, and make it much more likely they're going to buy from you, and also drive repeat customers. There's a lot of different types of content, and I'll talk a lot more about it in depth later, such as video content, blog, resources, and more. There's 2 general categories of content, on-site and off-site. On-site content is pretty straightforward. It's content that resides on your site. So it's example.com/blog/page title, right? And then off-site content, it's just a little bit less known or talked about. It's content that resides on external websites, that links to you, that talks about you, that like Forbes says, hey, what a great innovative product, and links to you. And here's kind of the main differences between them, and kind of like pluses and minuses of both. On-site content, it lives on your website. You can change whatever you want, whenever you want, right? Way more control. It's a lot easier to lead to a purchase, so it can rank for a keyword phrase in Google. They land on your site, and it's only probably 1 click, hopefully, to a purchase, right, through your navigational bar. Off-site content, they can delete it, do whatever they want with it. You don't have control. Provides a lot of external SEO benefits. You get high-quality backlinks, and it aligns your brand with theirs. If Forbes wrote an article about what great a company you are, then people are going to read that and align Forbes' brand with your brand, basically giving you an upvote. And then people get click on backlinks too. It's a novel idea, right? With backlinks and SEO, it's been very much as kind of like, black hat kind of, I guess, correlation. And really, like with SEO nowadays, it's much more about usability and actual people reading articles and reading the content, right? So people can click on these backlinks and they can actually buy from us. And there's a lot less bias when it's the content on off-site content as well. And social media is a part of off-site content, but I use it as more of a promotional tool. The reason being is it doesn't really help SEO as like off-site content does, because off-site content has backlink benefits. Social media does not. Google doesn't crawl this, so it doesn't really help SEO in the way that you think it does. And there's a really cool article I wrote on Search Engine Journal, how social media helps SEO. Definitely love for you all to check it out sometime. It explains it much further in depth of how social media helps SEO. It basically allows people and gets eyeballs on our content, which makes it much more likely we'll get high quality backlinks and more. And I consider YouTube and Vimeo also social media as well. Inside the links from YouTube accounts and YouTube videos is a tag that's rel equals nofollow, so those backlinks do not help in SEO, but they are great for getting eyeballs on our content, getting people searching our brand, and building our brand and brand awareness. So I'm going to talk a lot about social media being a promotional tool compared to being something like off-site content. Okay? So hopefully it gives you a good idea of what content is. Now I want to talk about how does this actually drive revenue in SEO, drive revenue. First, it's pretty straightforward. If someone Googles and finds our content, they can drive from the content to an actual purchase, right? Through a discount code, offers, you could just mention the product. And then there's also retargeting too. We can retarget them and hopefully get them back to buy at a later point. Another way, pretty straightforward, repeat customers. Super important for many Magento merchants that isn't really done enough, right? And using content and content marketing, we can get them to buy again and again because, a couple studies, it's 5x the cost to acquire new customers compared to just getting a customer to come back to buy again. And existing customers spend generally about 67% more. So using our content, promoting on social media, promoting a newsletter, and retargeting ads, we could get them back and hopefully buy again, interact with our brand more. And then 81% of consumers research online before they buy. And that study was done 4 years ago, so you can only imagine what it is now. Many consumers are searching research query intent keyword phrases, which is just a fancy word for saying when someone's searching for a question to an answer. So we could create content that's centered around keyword phrases like water compression shorts, popular dresses for winter, and differences between pumps and women's heels. And using keyword research, you can find these queries and then create content centered around it to rank there, be there when they're searching, and hopefully convert them into a customer. And I'm not going to talk about keyword research, but there's a ton of guides out there. Just Google keyword research and you'll find them. And you can use that guide as well in my deck. And then, most importantly, and if you ask me, what's the most important slide? And so everyone put down their phones and listen to this, please. Content marketing helps SEO because it helps category and product pages help rank higher, okay? And I don't think a lot of merchants out there understand this because product and category pages do not drive high quality backlinks generally. It's a lot harder because they're just products, they're categories of products, and it's just really hard to drive high quality backlinks to it. And I've audited probably over 300, 400 e-commerce sites at this point, and I've looked at all their backlink profiles, and content distributors, websites that make content, have much better backlink profiles 99% of the time. But backlinks are very important too. According to Andrei Lipizov and Greg Corrado, a Google engineer, and Andrei is a search quality senior strategist at Google. It's quite a mouthful of a title. Backlinks are one of the two most important factors in Google. And I'm not talking about all backlinks. Out of all those sites I've audited, this is URL rating distribution, screenshot from Ahrefs. About 99% of backlinks follow this 0 through 20 score. So they don't really mean much, right? And content marketing helps drive 20 plus high quality backlinks. And that has a much higher correlation to ranking high in Google. So content marketing is going to drive high quality backlinks, and then if you have your content that links to your products and category pages, they can hopefully rank higher in Google and have a much higher correlation to ranking high in Google, okay? So that's primarily the way that I see content marketing helping merchants drive more revenue. It's increasing category and product page rankings. And this is a little bit more advanced, so bear with me. It also helps our usability signals. Usability signals are things like bounce rate, time on page, pages per session. So if Google serves search results and they have, people search Google, they go to a URL listing, and they leave right away, Google said, I didn't do my job. I didn't serve them the right search result. And that's basically why we look at bounce rate. We look at these other metrics now because they're important. Google's able to see that, and they're able to display search results and basically give scores to URLs based on this. So if we have great content, we're much more likely to keep them on site longer and interact with their brand. And if they're staying on longer, interacting with their brand and doing multiple clicks to their website, our usability signals will go up. And I'm going to illustrate this with a couple examples of 3 retailers. And this whole kind of started, this usability signals, last year, around, I want to say February. And our VP of Customer Success came to me and said, hey, I want you to take a look at this site. It's called fashionnova.com. They're ranking for crazy keyword phrases. They're ranking for jeans, jumpsuits, swimsuits, all these crazy keyword phrases that are having 300, 500,000 searches a month. And we looked at everything backlinks. They didn't really have the greatest backlinks. Their on-page SEO is pretty poor. And they had no real way that we thought that they'd be ranking high in Google. But they pretty much grew, and this is just a screenshot from SEMrush's database of keyword phrases, ranked for 83,000 keyword phrases, traffic cost estimator of like 503,000. And it started in October 2015 where they had a huge spike and went all the way up. Pretty sure everyone here would like those results, right? They could imitate that. And we looked at everything, and one thing we discovered is they had a really low bounce rate compared to everyone on the first page of Google for the keyword phrase jeans, and much higher time on page according to Alexa data. Then we learned other things too, like they had 6.3 million Instagram followers. And we're able to see that there's tons of influencers and bloggers that are writing content about their products, and they're sharing it on social media. And they're sending literally hundreds of thousands of people searching Google keyword phrases like Fashion Nova jeans, Fashion Nova jumpsuits. And then we're able to infer that Google sees that hundreds of thousands of people are searching the keyword phrase Fashion Nova jeans. Why don't we try them out for the keyword phrase jeans and put them higher? And as long as there's positive usability signals, they're going to place them higher in the search results. We audited it a year later, and they grew another 500%. Pretty casual growth over here, right? And I'm pretty sure everyone loved those results too, and now they have 11.1 million Instagram followers. I'm not saying we need to have 11.1 million Instagram followers to be successful, but I think we can take a play from their playbook to be successful here. And then the same thing for 2 other retailers, Briola a really cool, innovative company that has a really cool configurator for bra sizes and calculating bra size. And they're really disrupting the space. And the way they're disrupting the space is by, again, offsite content, building relationships with influencers, getting really cool content published on their blog that real users read, and then send those people, they're basically Googling and finding their brand and using these keywords to find them. It's been pretty incredible, the growth that they've also seen as well, just being around for about maybe a year, year and a half. And then another one, Death Wish Coffee. They basically disrupting the coffee space. One of the most hardest spaces to be in online, the coffee business online. They're able to disrupt the space, and if you look at their blog, they have amazing content that they interact with their customer base and create a rabid fan base, right? And they do really, really well connecting with their consumers with on-site content and creating this content, sharing on social media, promoting it, and getting their customers back and back and back. And they're searching Google, and Google's able to see the popularity and place them higher in the search results. So again, not saying we need to have these kind of successful campaigns, but we can take a play from this playbook and see how they're basically growing so rapidly and try to do the same thing. And so now I'm actually going to talk about how to build a content marketing system, how to do content marketing, and actually how to get results. So starting off, I kind of have this formula I have here. Basically project management plus strategy plus actual writing and then promotion equals content marketing, okay? And you generally need about 3 different types of roles to do this. Content strategist, the writer, and the promoter. And you can have people different in your organization doing different roles here. But this is kind of like the general makeup I see for a good content marketing team. You first have the strategist who's responsible for the projects, the strategy, recruiting, managing writers, promoters, et cetera. See in smaller kind of organizations, the owner or the marketing director takes this role. The content writer is pretty straightforward. This could also be a video production specialist, or it could be a graphic designer. And they're actually producing the content. Wide variety of skills. The one thing I'll say here, just because you pay the most doesn't mean you get the best value. You want to find the best writers, the best graphic designers who are going to really resonate with your target audience. And then the content promoter. They're promoting your content, social media, newsletter, basically getting content published on external sites. And we're going to talk a lot about that and talking about promoting content. And they basically build relationships with publications to promote your content, get it out there, and get eyeballs on your content. Because if you don't promote it, it doesn't exist. And that brings me to my next slide. The big problem with content marketing is people always just do this. We're going to make the best content possible. Great. No one sees it. It's not the best content possible, right? So you have to make sure you promote your content, and you want to spend anywhere from either 50-50 on both, or I've seen 60-40, and some of the bigger kind of brands with really big followings can do probably like 70-30, 70% time in development and 30% in promotion. But it's really, really important to promote content and to get high-quality backlinks and get these different people just viewing your content, otherwise it won't be effective for you, and it's not going to work, right? And so now I'm going to take this formula, I'm going to break it down for on-site content, and then I'm going to break it down for off-site content and share some kind of examples of this. So starting off, on-site content, I'm going to break down basically how to produce the best content possible, and then I'm going to talk about promoting it. The first thing you want to do is create a really in-depth content guidelines. Reason for the content guidelines is so we all stay on the same page as a content team, making sure we're writing the right content, we're talking about the right things, making sure we have all the best practices in our content. Couldn't really find a screenshot for like a Magento merchant who had this content guideline, so I had to settle for Search Engine Journal. And they have a really good content guidelines you can kind of pull and see about. And they really go in depth with basically how they want the content. And the most important part of this is really have the strategy. So who's our target audience? Who are we trying to write to? And what are we trying to accomplish with our content marketing? What keyword phrases are we trying to target? What landing pages are we trying to target with these keyword phrases when we're creating an interlink strategy? And who's our target audience? And then from there, we want to develop a content calendar and make sure that we're staying on the, making sure we're managing all the different writing projects, helping for revision control. I like to use Asana and Basecamp, but you can get really fancy with it, and CoSchedule, Smartsheet, and Contently are really cool tools as well. And the whole purpose is just make sure we're going to have lots of content writing projects, right? Lots of projects. Got to make sure that we manage it and stay on the same page when it comes to these content writing projects. And then we need to develop, what are we going to write about? What are we going to produce content-wise? And there's kind of 3 main techniques, but the first, I like to use past data for future ideas. So I can go back and figure out what's been the best content for certain subject matters, right? So I can use tools like Ahrefs, BuzzSumo. I could go back and say what's done well in the past based on how many times it's been shared on social media, based on how much traffic it gets, estimated, based on how many referring domains it gets, and just more. So I have just a good idea of what's worked well in the past so I can create content for the future. So if something's like the 2012 Guide to Wedding Invitations, I can create the 2018 Ultimate Guide to Wedding Invitations. You can also use frequently asked questions in chat box data or call center data and create resource content, which we'll talk about. You can also use competitors, too. A really great way to see what your competitors are doing really well, what's working well for them, and you can use the same tools to replicate that as well. I know I said I was not going to talk about keyword research, but I am here because this is a little bit more of an advanced keyword research tactic. I like to use SEMrush also to find really good content ideas. And what I'll do is I'll use filters. So I'll go in SEMrush and figure where do I rank in Google, like page 2 to 10. So therefore, I don't really have the best content. I don't have like page 1 quality content. I've got like page 2 to 10, right? And then I'll search for things like has a better volume than 100. And then I can go through this list and figure out what keyword phrases I don't have the best content for. So like, for example, let's say I rank on page 9 for the keyword phrase water compression shorts, and I have a product page which ranks for that keyword phrase. Google's saying you don't have top 10 quality content, but you have like page 9 quality content. So that's a good idea for me to create a blog centered around water compression shorts. So I can rank for that keyword phrase, have a better, content that's going to match that searcher intent. Okay? So once we have the content guidelines, we do our content calendar, and we have the right content research so we know what content we're going to create, then let's actually talk about actually creating this content, okay? I'm going to break it down to each one of those that I talked about before: video content, blog content, resources, and studies and data. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. I'm just going to try to give you the most high-level actionable items. I don't want to tell you how to write a blog, but I'm going to tell you the ways to really be successful with each one of these. So starting off video content, starting off hot, starting off the one that everyone likes to talk about. Video content is really great because it's really easy to consume on a lot of different mediums, from social media to your blog to YouTube, et cetera. The only drawback is it takes a lot of time to produce, right? It's a lot of resources, and that's why I think it's good to do, but only if you're having good success in other mediums with content marketing, such as like using blog content or resources. And there's two main types of video content. One is a little bit more viral funny like this. They basically just blended a bunch of random things like golf clubs and iPhones that I thought was a really funny example, and it worked really well. It got 5.6 million views, and it was a really impactful viral piece of content. And how this really helped for SEO, which is most important, is they were able to create a website called willowblend.com. I think they still have it, and they housed all these videos on it. And it drove a lot of high-quality backlinks to that website, which then interlinked to their, Blender website. They're able to rank for a lot of great keyword phrases because of that. This is a little bit more hit or miss, so I wouldn't suggest doing this right out the gate, but it can be really impactful if you do it right and kind of get lucky a little bit, right? And then there's content that's ranking for different keyword phrases as well. This is a company that basically sells golf cart parts. And being that they sell golf cart parts, you need to know how to install a golf cart snowplow, right? And so them writing how to install a golf cart snowplow would be pretty ridiculous. So they created a lot of content, how to install these basically parts and how to use their products. And they put it on their blog. They put it on YouTube as well. And they created unique titles and descriptions for each one. And the reason they did this is so they can rank twice in Google. Pretty simple. They could cover more real estate in Google, and they could show up for more search phrases and capture more traffic and sales using video content. So if you have really complex product offerings, these are a really good idea to create content that your target market will like, and you can even put these on your product pages as well and have that content there. All right, now blog content. This is the most popular content because it's the easiest to make, and it's really, really effective for a lot of Magento merchants if done right. And starting off, why it's not done right is a lot of myths. So first one, Google likes fresh content. This is false. Google wants the best content, and they want the best content for the user. And generally, the user wants something that's probably maybe updated, but there's still many, many blogs that have been written in 2008, 12 that still rank high in Google, because Google cares about the best content for the user. So don't write content for the sake of writing content. Just try to create the best content possible. And even if you have like blogs that have been made in 2012, 11 that do well, just update that instead of making a new blog. Create new content and just, make your old content even better and redo it and put really cool design elements in it. Next two myths: short blogs are better and long blogs are better. Both are false. Google wants the best content for the user. They want to give them the answer the quickest possible and give them the best comprehensive answer that they can. That's why they have the answer boxes, and it's why they're doing so much rich snippets. And so we need to think about what's best for the user, right? What's best for the searcher when they're searching, okay? And sometimes short blogs might be better. Sometimes long blogs might be better. Just really depends on the user when they're searching, and just trying to give them the best possible experience when they search Google and match their searcher intent. And finally, blogs don't work. That's false. I see a lot of Magento merchants being very successful with it and continue to create content, to create the snowball content marketing, and continue to build their business. So, 2 types of main blog content. One is going to be a little bit more keyword centric. So I want my blog content to rank for different keyword phrases and capture them when they're searching, right? So we do our keyword research strategy. We're figuring out what are the right keyword phrases for us to target, and we're creating really in-depth, comprehensive content that's solving the searcher intent, and that's going to capture that traffic when they're searching. So this is just an example of a blog that's going to be a little bit more aligned with people having answers about wellness wearables. And this is going to be able to capture when people are searching Google. It's going to have the right title that's going to be optimized for them. And when you're creating this blog content, remember, create the most comprehensive, best content in the top 10 in Google. Put in really cool design elements. Just blow it out of the water. And make sure you have the right interlinks inside the content as well. Go into your right products and your category pages so you can drive authority to those product and category pages as well. Then you can create content that's not so keyword-centric, that's a little bit more general, a little bit more fun. Death Wish Coffee on their blog, they have a lot of content that's a lot more kind of ties to the motion, right? And Red Bull wouldn't send people out to space and then have them parachute back, if, didn't work to create emotional connection with the consumers, right? And so this gives you an idea of a blog that's a little bit less keyword-centric. If you're going to create it, though, just make sure that you're promoting it a lot more, because search engines are a great way to promote content because they're going to find it on Google, interact with it. So just make sure, if it's not keyword-centric, promote the heck out of it on your social channels, your newsletter, and make sure you get eyeballs on it. Otherwise, no one will ever read it. Okay? Resource centers. I'm seeing these make a huge comeback. These are really prevalent back in the day, but I'm seeing people get really creative with it, and it's providing a big impact on Magento merchants out there. In a resource center, straightforward. It's basically a center of content that really answers research, query, intent keyword phrases, and helps when people are searching products and they're on site and they're looking for different items, and it can integrate with product content as well. And we know this through either using keyword research, or you can use our FAQs, our call center, chat box information, what have you, to really kind of answer this searcher intent or on-site. And just kind of example of this, help center here. Advantages faux wood blinds, you can see here. And so this can help in multiple ways. First, it can rank for this keyword phrase, right? It can rank for variants of this keyword phrase. Google's really good about understanding correlation to keyword searches. So like a couple years ago, I looked at the search results. I did women's pumps and women's heels and matched them together. It was basically the same results, right? So a lot of times we don't have to get super smart with this. Google's going to be able to place our kind of content in a lot of different keyword search, variations. So again, don't worry too much about having the exact match with content, and create kind of buckets of keyword phrases for each of these. And so it can basically rank at Google, and then also if people are on products, they can navigate to the help center, right? And then they can also integrate this with their product content as well. On their products, they could have different content ideas that's like, that basically are able to say, hey, do you need more information on this? Check out this resource page as well. So a lot of ways, keeps the user on the site longer, and then also helps them make a purchase. And then also, this can rank in Google that can get customers here for the first time. And it doesn't just have to be all written content. You could get really creative with it. So this retailer, a merchant, basically knew that a lot of consumers were searching for how to find the right bra size, bra calculator, and all these other different keyword search queries. So they created a really cool configurator that was able to show, here's the bra size you need, right? And they created a lot of cool resource pages based on this as well. They're able to rank for a lot of different keyword phrases. And they put a lot of really cool design elements in it, too, to really wow people basically come to the site. Because search bra calculator, you're going to get 10 of them that all have the same thing. They really want to create that wow effect with a resource center. So moral of the story is you don't have to just put a bunch of words on a page. You can really get creative with it, create some really cool design elements, and really just try to blow stuff out of the water and give users the best experience possible. And then last, this is a little bit harder to do, but sometimes it can be really advantageous if you have a lot of purchasing data. So in this example, basically a pet food brand online, they basically created infographics out of studies and data using their customer list and basically purchases. And they're able to say, this percent of people buy organic dog food compared to regular dog food, and this percent of people buy large dog toys compared to small dog toys. It's just really cool to basically use stuff that you already have in your business to create really good content. So your purchase data, your customer list, kind of et cetera, and to create really cool infographics based on studies and data that you already have in your business. And then, just to reiterate again, if content doesn't exist until it's promoted and people see it, again, promoting content is really important. It's going to increase the effectiveness of the content because you're getting more high-quality backlinks, you're getting more high-quality social media shares, and it'll build your brand. And just some key promotional strategies to do. You're basically trying to get your content in front of your audience's eyeballs, so they're going to come to your content, right? So email marketing is really important to do this. You don't just have to send kind of discount-related email. You can also send them content-related emails. You can integrate them, so you can have flash sale plus content down here in your emails as well. And that's just helping build that connection with that consumer, make it more likely they're going to buy again. Social media marketing, organic, posting them, and also use the paid advertising tools as well with Facebook. You can put in your customer list into Facebook and advertise to them and advertise your content to them to get them back to read your content, interact with you. Search engines, the gift that keeps giving. If your content is very keyword-centric, it can find, people can find it online and basically read it, and that's a great promotional tool. And then display advertising as well, using basically your retargeting or even just Google Display Network if you want to get really fancy, and basically advertise your content out there and get more eyeballs on it. Now I'm switching to offsite content. I'm going to talk about development, and then I'm going to talk about promoting and actually how to do this and what's kind of like the process for getting offsite content placements. So reiterating again, the advantages of offsite content, you get obviously high quality inbound backlinks, which are really important as we discussed. You have the thought leadership credibility, right? We want actual real people reading these articles, so it's going to help build our business. We want people clicking on the backlinks, get referral traffic, and the thought leadership is going to help build our brand awareness, get us more brand searches, and we're going to piggyback off their authority. So it's really going to help us build our Magento storefronts and our target audience. I'm going to show you some examples, then I'm going to show you basically the process for gaining these. This example is basically a company that sells organic skincare products, and they basically found a website called thebestorganicskincare.com. They built a relationship with them, and they basically co-collaborated, pieced together top 4 benefits using organic beauty products. Had 20 comments, so people actually read the article. They liked it. They interacted with it. It had 800 social media shares as well. It's a really great article that also provided a contextual, high-quality backlink above the fold. One of the reasons why I want to use this example is because it's also very keyword relevant. It's very relevant to their product offering. As Anastasia said, I have a really cute golden retriever puppy. If we just write content about golden retriever puppies and get links on BuzzFeed, it's not going to help us rank high on Google. Google wants keyword relevancy and subject relevancy in these articles, in offsite content. That's what really helps move the needle, basically. And this example is a company that sells sleep bracelets. They did a really cool campaign where they didn't just find content distributors, they found other companies that sell sleep products. They were going after Casper, they were going after other companies that sell complementary products. And they basically sold a sleep bracelet that helped people sleep more, like clinically proven, right? And they found a company, Sleep Envy, that sells products for better sleep. And they created a really cool piece of content, 10 dreamy products for more satisfying slumber. And inside, they're able to integrate their products into it, and same with Sleep Envy. And they put their sleep bracelet in here, and it contextually links sleep bracelet. It's partial match anchor text, which basically just means this is just a partial match. And then it links to their sleep bracelet category page. And then their number one for the keyword phrase sleep bracelet. So you can see the correlation between really relevant content, really relevant high-quality inbound links to the category page, and the category page is going to rank higher on Google. What we want to create with offsite content, okay? And don't mean to leave out the B2B merchants out there. You can definitely do this in B2B. It's really great for thought leadership. You just want to find the websites that your target market reads and interacts with, build content with them, and make content together in a collaborational effort or a solo effort. And Corey doesn't believe in smiling, so I suggest to smile on your articles you get placed. And then same thing here. This is for a company that sells basically construction materials online, right? And they're able to get links on Safeopedia by writing really cool collaborational content about how to stay safer on the work sites. And is their vice president of business development and strategy, right? So you can create this content, create that thought leadership, and it's also going to help SEO and get people searching Google and finding us. And so this is basically the process to do all that I just talked about, to gain these high-level placements. First, you got to prospect. You got to find these websites. You can ask your target audience. You probably know what they already interact with already and what they read. And once you find these websites, you want to make contact with the key decision makers. You want to learn what they want out of content. You want to learn what's their best content. You want to build a relationship. This part's really important. Generally, the best places to get content published are going to be really impossible to get. They're going to say no to you 1,000 times, and it's just really hard to gain traction with them. So you've got to really build a relationship, share their content on your social media channels, tell them that you've shared it on your social media channels, and give them value, right? And maybe pitch them ideas you've done in the past, like here's placements I got in Forbes or Inc., and I think it'd be a great idea to do this idea based on an article that you had in 2015 that did well. So you just want to give them value. And then once you build that relationship and pitch the idea, either a collaboration or a solo effort, which basically means either writing the content together or I'm doing it by myself and publishing on their website, project management, and then developing the content, right? And then there's tools that you can use as well in this link I have here that talks about different content promotional tools and content management tools. And then once you get these articles placed, you want to measure it, right? How much traffic am I getting from it? What's the domain authority? Social shares? How many backlinks? How many coverage views? You know, SEO is not just about domain authority anymore. Like back in the day, all we care about was like page authority, domain authority, and just, you know, backlinks. But now we need to start looking at like, is that producing traffic? Am I getting coverage views, social shares? Those are things that we want to look at. And it takes time to get social shares. I mean, you know, might take a year or two to really kind of gain traction, but these are all metrics we want to look at with these different placements that we get. And then finally, we want to promote our content too. I know it's down here, it's kind of long. We want to promote our content as well, the same that we do with on-site. We want to go promote it to our channels, promote it on our social channels, our newsletter, you know, and we want our target audience to know about it, right? You know, and again, like we want to create real content that our target audience is going to love. And, you know, I say if you want to share it with your mom, then it's probably not great content. All right, cool. Now going into keys to success. I can't state this enough, but you have to work as a team. I've seen a lot of like content marketing teams where it's like the promoter and the content strategist are off, or the writer are off, and then you're basically can't promote the content because it's not the right content. So it's really important, like I can't stress enough that content guidelines to make sure everyone's on the same page, because everyone needs to have the same kind of goals and the same kind of know-how, because that's what's going to make it really successful. Easy to understand goals and KPIs for upper management. You know, they generally like to see how much more money they're making, which is a great KPI to look at. So really want to figure out what are some easy to digest KPIs, high quality backlinks, those kind of things. Make sure you keep everything sustainable and attainable. Don't want to create anything unrealistic. It's really easy to get frustrated with content marketing because it is a snowball. It takes a long time to build a snowball, but you continue building it, it continues getting bigger. So, you know, don't think that you're going to come out right out the gate and be successful, because that's kind of not very frequent. And also prepare for the long haul. You know, it takes a long time to do this, and some of your competitors might have been doing this for years now, right? And you're not just going to come out and beat them right out the gate, or I'll be really impressed and I might be talking about you next year. So. And finally, these are my KPIs that I look at. I'll kind of wait for everyone to take a picture of this. So revenue from organic search or traffic. Traffic from organic search engines. Those are kind of the main two everyone cares about, right? Want to know how much more money I'm making from my content marketing efforts. High quality backlinks, social shares, referral traffic, changes usability metrics. Let's look at our bounce rate. How are we doing now, right? What's our time on page? How many people are searching for our brand? That's important too. What's our keyword rankings that we're doing that we can use from a tracker? And then SEMrush has a cool keyword ranking that shows basically where we're ranked in their huge database. So that's a good way for us to look as well. And then I wanted to say, like, here's some general goals to look at, but really it's so dependent and so case-by-case situation. If you're a bigger enterprise player, it's probably a lot easier to get higher traction faster because you have such a good domain authority to build off of. And then if you're just starting out, it might take a little bit longer. So it just really depends on a case-by-case basis on what you can probably attain in the first year. Cool. Well, thanks, everyone. I appreciate it. Please visit Imagine 2018 after our website. You can view this whole presentation, download my deck. I wrote out everything I was going to say today. And please connect with me and on Twitter and email me. My job here is to help you all be as successful as I possibly can, so please connect me, hand me your business card. Love to get to know you all. And I got 8 minutes for questions.
Thanks. I was curious if you can comment on some best practices of when you are putting the same product out onto different sites on a Magento installation? How important is it to differentiate the content there?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, so there's actually an article I wrote about that on SHA. You're talking about like two instances, right? Like maybe a B2B and a B2C instance. Yeah, that's a tough one. There's an article I wrote on Search Engine Journal that I really kind of broke that down a lot further. I think you just kind of need the main version of your site that you want to rank really high, you know, and then the kind of, let's say it's the B2B example that you don't care as much. Like you're just going to have to probably like canonical it or something. It's just, that's a really tough one, a case-by-case basis, and I'd probably have to consult my team, and more than happy to kind of look at that for you and give you a good answer on that after this. But again, it just really depends. But I would say probably having one instance is better, and then canonically the lesser version to the main version that you want to rank in Google.
Hello. I'm wondering if you could comment on budget. Like, what might be reasonable prices you might expect to pay an external content writer to produce a high-quality 1,500 to 2,000 word article?
Yeah, that's tough, man. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I have a monetary amount to that. It really depends on your industry. Like if you're in medical, good luck. I think it just really comes down to the value you're getting. So when you're looking at content writing, and I actually forgot to talk about it. I'm just thinking back about it. You just always look for the best value. What's going to gauge my audience the best? Not a lot of times the highest priced writer is going to give you the best value, but definitely don't go to the cheapest option either, right? So I can't really provide a good input on it, but it just really so varies. Budget value, that's a good one too. Past experiences writing, you could go pop them in Ahrefs and see how many times you shared on social media, see how engaging the content that they produced in the past have done. And then you just have to do kind of judgment on yourself, like what's really quality content. Am I engaged with it reading it? Am I excited to read this? And maybe like hopefully you have some sample target audience that and you can share the articles with them as well and see what they like the best.
So if you're successful and you're getting traffic, you've written some good buying guides or something like that, and you're getting a lot of traffic and you're ranking in the top 10 for that, have you got any tips on, and say it's a buying guide, on how to make that convert better into actual sales? So you're getting a lot of traction, but you're just not getting a lot of sales from that content.
Yeah.
It's not what's being tracked in analytics.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit probably more serial, conversion rate optimization, but it's always good, like I'm just thinking from an SEO perspective, maybe just go in Search Console, put in that URL in there, and then go see like what keyword phrases are coming to that site. What are they clicking on? Maybe you just don't have the right content for the right searcher intent, right? Or maybe they're more researching, right? And then your like product page ranks for it, and you're not converting because they're looking for answers, and maybe your product's not giving them the answers to that. So I think from an SEO perspective, all you could really do is like look at Search Console and see what keyword phrases that page is ranking for and what's getting traffic, what keyword phrases, and then just evaluate it and optimize from there. And then the other part is that's probably more of a conversion rate optimization that you want to look at it like why it's not converting and is there anything we can do better to convert them, and then blast them retargeting ads. Anyone else?
So I have a two-part question.
Cool.
The first part is, what blogging platform or publishing platform do you recommend running with Magento? And then the second, or do you have a recommendation? The second is, what's your take on putting a blog at a subdomain versus a subfolder?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the IT issues. So a lot of them do subdomains, WordPress, a lot of our clients use, WordPress as the blogging software to utilize. The one thing I'll say about it though is I love my blog to be on my navigational bar, so it's very easy for them to go from blog to purchase, right? A lot of people put on like a separate instance, like a subdomain, and it's just like shop button right here. They have to click twice to go to where they want to go, right? I'd rather have my main navigational bar so the content is there, and I see a lot using WordPress in that instance inside like a subfolder. But you could use a subdomain too. There's not a huge amount of difference. I just prefer subfolders, but I'd say probably subfolders first, subdomains second priority to utilize, and then WordPress is generally what I see them using.
So regarding off-site content, my company is pretty successful at getting off-site content, but what we're noticing is that large publishers have started hiring new roles like revenue directors and affiliate managers internally to monetize their own content. And can you speak about publishers who might be requesting affiliate links and talk about that the payment model in general on off-site content?
Yeah, no, awesome question. I totally forgot to talk about that too. So sponsored content, the problem with like sponsored content with SEO is if you can get it easily, so can everyone else. So if a publication just links out to like hundreds of thousands of different people on sponsored posts, it's gonna dilute your link profile. So when I showed you the Sleep Envy, right, that wasn't a content publisher. That was just another company that had a good domain authority that they built a relationship with. And it's, you know, SEO, like, it's also finding those unique opportunities. Like, it's really easy to do sponsored posts and, you know, to do like influencer and stuff like that, right? But finding those really cool, creative, unique opportunities is what drives a lot of real good results, right? And so just to say that, for sure, like the publishers are all getting smart. Mommy bloggers are like the smartest people in the world. And they're really good at monetizing their content, right? And so as SEOs and content marketers, we got to find ways to combat that. And it's just finding more unique opportunities like co-marketing series with other companies, or, you know, finding the publications that do accept organic content, or maybe even pushing back on and say, hey, I don't want to do sponsored posts because you're going to put me in the sponsored post category, which dilutes all the link authority. Like, how can we create really amazing content together, you know, and just push back on that? Does that answer it? Really cool, sweet.
So back in the day, when I started doing SEO, there was actually a lot of math involved. You know, you'd had to have so many keywords per words in your title tag or in your description or in your page. Is any of that relevant anymore?
Like keyword density and stuff like that? Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like you can like literally Google like some results now, and like the keywords aren't even like the title tag, you know? It's still relevant, you know, but I think a lot of SEOs, like they try to do Google's job for them, right? Like I need to make sure I've like voice search is coming out. I need to say like what is like before like my title tags. Like Google's really good at doing what they're doing. They're really good at understanding what content needs to go where, right? So instead of us focusing on like, you know, we gotta make sure the right keyword density, let's really focus on, you know, still do the basic, you know, good SEO best practices, right? Let's really focus on things like click-through rate optimization and really creating the best content possible, because we'll get more bang for a buck spending money on those resources than to, you know, worry about keyword density or sacrificing content quality for the sake of just keyword optimization, basically. Thank you, Vegas.